Cool. Now we're recording. So, if you look at Thursday's agenda, you're going to see there are two things in the resources. Language Portfolios 2026. This is where you submit that actual IA for PPS. And I've also added the language goals and questions questionnaire, if needed, from forever ago, just in case you need to export that for the template that lives on Portfolios. Okay? If you click on Portfolios, you're going to see a language portfolio template document right here. We're going to look at that real quick. I don't know if it expands it in Canvas or not. It does. Okay, cool. So, when you download this Word document, which I'm low-key requiring because it has a lot of sections for you to copy and paste or upload or insert your stuff in order to fully complete your, your language portfolio. So what we talked about in fourth period the other day, and I will catch you guys up to speed with the quick version, is that there are three key sections to the language portfolio, okay? And I have all of the, let me turn on my live stream cam here. I don't know if this will work. Okay, whatever, no. Okay, so if you look right here, there are three main aspects of the language portfolio. There's the profile, which includes your self-assessment of language proficiency, SALP number 1, the questionnaire that you completed for Hyatt, and then the goals form that I can't remember if we did this year or you did last year, but it's been done. Next up, there are 3 reflections in Section 2, and then Section 3 is all about evidence. All right? This is the quick lightning round version that you can find in a bunch of different formats in this big stack of papers right here, which is also on Canvas. I will put it in a sec, because this is way out of order. Did you have a question, or did you want to look at these? Okay, no worries. We can look at these a little bit later. Okay, that being said, looking at your language portfolio document here, I've broken those sections into I've broken them down into like space for you to copy and paste, upload, or write whatever is necessary for your language portfolio to be complete. Number 1 is the profile. We talked about, or we didn't talk about, but the important part of the profile is you've already done most of this work. It's just putting it into this template that I've provided that's going to create your language portfolio from a bunch of pieces everywhere to a complete product, right? So you have your each section has a name and a checklist, whether or not you've completed them, and then space to either write reflections, which we'll talk about in a second, or copy and paste or insert images, evidence, etc. Okay? I know I'm going really fast, but I want to make sure you can see like all the different pieces. I did skip a beginning part. The reason I want you to download this as a Word document is there is a header up at the top here that's asking for some, the word I'm thinking is diagnostic, but that's not what demographic information. Okay? Your IB number is your candidate code. You don't have to know that today, but you will have to have it submitted on the final version. I will get those from Phelan, but he's not here right now. What is your period? Anybody? Third. What is the year? 2026. So you put third, 2026, and then you write whatever your target language is. By doing this in the header of the Word doc, it will cascade across all the different pages and allow me to use your work as a resource for future IBPPS classes without having any type of identifying info besides your candidate code. Okay, anyways, it also has a page number. Anyways, Section 1 we've already mostly completed because it's things we've done, it's just putting them into the one spot. Make sense? The one that we have not done are the reflections. And now, this is my bad because Blakeney said yes to too many things this year and got overwhelmed and was not on top of the language portfolio as I should have been. At the same time, language portfolio is also totally different next year, so we're just going to kind of ride out how we've done it in the past. Okay? You need 3 reflections in your language portfolio that talk about your experience and the lessons that you picked up along the way of learning your language, of your independent language/cultural studies. What I've put in here is a spot for you to change the date on your first reflection. Ideally, this would have happened on around the same timeline as your reflective project meetings. So early semester 1 was the first reflection. Midterm semester 1 was the second reflection, air quotes. And then the third reflection happens right around now, finals of the first semester. Each reflection has 5 to 6 questions that if you answer in the space below will create a very solid reflection that does genuinely reflect your reflect your learning as you study language, but we're just doing it a little bit more quickly than we should have done it. Yeah, Ian.
Are we supposed to put this in a paragraph, or can we just number it?
Paragraph. It's got to be fluffed out with a little bit of actual writing. But there are the 5 questions for the first reflection. Fourth period and I discussed that the 4 to 5 main aspects are: what objectively have you learned or practiced while studying this language? Stuff like vocab, grammar, syntax, sentence structure, etc. What's the hard fact, like I learned this many vocab words, is question 1. Question 2 is asking the same type of question but a little bit differently, talking about the soft skills. I'm sure you've talked about that in your business types classes. What indirectly have you learned about yourself or about your character as you have studied this language? Have you learned how to persevere? Have you connected better with your own culture? Have you expanded your worldview or changed your perspective on something? Questions like that are the indirect learning as you study these languages. And then 3, 4, and 5 are pretty face value. Why are these things important to you? Why are these things important to the broader context of the world? The I in IB is international, right? And number 5, how has the study of the language encouraged your growth? That turns into your first paragraph reflection. Reflections 2 and 3 are the same, except they have a 6th one on there that says, did you meet your previous goals? And you can just say, yeah, I did, no, I didn't, whatever. And the goals I'm talking about are the goals that we set earlier in the year. Last thing, evidence. This has a checklist and a little type of evidence table, because everybody's going to have a different set of evidences. I have given you, I encourage you to have 4 different pieces of evidence. All of your Duolingo screenshots being 1, all of your grades being another, all of a project being a 3rd, and then whatever else you can use to prove that you've learned something in this language can serve as a piece of evidence. If you're curious what types of evidence look really nice in a language portfolio, we have written out the 3 main sources that you're going to get this section from. Cultural evidences, so going to cultural sites, attending cultural festivals, gatherings, activities, being a participant in an identity group or association, like the identity association clubs here at Skyline, or outside of Skyline, but Skyline's the quickest and easiest way to get it. Transcripts and certs from high school, college, or another type of external trusted source. If you go to ilearnedspanish.com, which I just made up, and you have a certificate that is written in crayon, that's probably not going to be a very legit source of evidence. So external trusted sources. Then finally, app or web resources like Duolingo, Babbel, Mango Languages offered by the Seattle Public Library or the King County Public Library, etc. And then, John, you had a question, or did it get answered?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is just for any language you took in your junior and senior years, correct?
Correct. When this is run correctly, part of PPS has a language and cultural whole section, and you choose. Most students do the one that they've done at Skyline, and then they do independent research on their own to practice that language further. But given the circumstances of this year, 99% of us are just using what we did junior year, senior year, and then I forgot the word, but collecting it all into this language portfolio.
Okay.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then last thing on the types of evidence, I've listed the types of things, or where you can find this evidence or what it might look like. One of them is physical or photographs or tangible type things. I went to a mass, I don't know if it's all called mass, a religious service, different from the one that I participate in or my family participates in, and here's the proof from that kind of thing. Yeah?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
If I was, for my language, which is French, if I was to go to a French restaurant, would that count?
I think it could count. How are you?
If I speak French to the waiter, would that count?
Believe you. How are you going to prove that you spoke French to the waiter? What kind of evidence can you attach?
A photo with captions.
Yeah, I think so. Do you have a photo with the waiter, or are you going to get one?
I will procure one.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's got to be, the evidence is there, it's finding a way to prove it, is a lot of what this language portfolio does. Tom, you have a question?
Last year, I think there was a salsa dancing activity in all Spanish classes.
Mm-hmm.
I I think there were people taking pictures.
Yeah.
Do you know where we could like find those pictures?
I think I might have them. If I don't have them, the Spanish prophase.
Okay.
I think Dunn did that, and Ochea will probably have it too.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure we did that for yearbook, so I'll look
Yeah,
for.
I'll check in the yearbook.
Okay. Okay. Those are your 3 sections. When you download this Word doc, mine's already downloaded, so I'm just going to open it up. Okay. These sections are collapsible. Did that on purpose, so it was really quick to see. These are the 4 main ideas, right? Say my IB number is 1999, and my period/year, let's change that real quick to be 3rd/2026, and then my target language will be Spanish, because that's what I took in high school. I accidentally took away the page number, so if that happens to you, just make sure you don't have this little part highlighted. Now when I close my header and my footer, any page that I go to or any page that I add detail or evidence to is going to retain all of that information across the top. And I really, really want you guys to use the Word version because that'll keep everything nice and organized. Okay, Ian, you have a question.
Sorry,
No worries.
if we like open it on Word Online, you think it'll be fine?
Word Online should be fine. I don't know if headers work on there, but if they don't, we can always figure it out a little bit later. And since most of you will be gone for DECA tomorrow, and this is just an IA due at the latest, the absolute latest on the finals period, which for you guys is Wednesday, the 21st, but it's open till the 22nd because that's when 4th periods is due. Please don't wait that long. I have everything written out here for you. You have this 60 to 80% complete already, and I'm giving you time to do it. Please use that time. Okay, before I wrap this up, are there any questions? Or is this making sense? Does this answer a lot of questions about the portfolio? Thumbs up? Okay, sorry it took me so long. Tom?
And if we have pictures of ourselves, should we like blur out our faces?
If you can. If you can't do it on the computer, we can print it, scribble it, and scan it.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you have tried to IA or EE style, try to remain anonymous in your pictures. But again, because this isn't an EE and because this is the one that does not go all the way to IB, quite like the Reflective Project or the Service Learning does, and I'm doing most of the grading on these, it's not that big of a deal. Are we all good? Okay. This will be what we're working on this week, or the rest of this week. Thank y'all for listening. Much appreciated. Get to work.